And we're back for some talking hockey. We had Hockey Day in Canada on Saturday, which I did not really catch much of. Um, it's hard to get communities involved when they're not allowed to be near each other, but something to still celebrate because kids are getting out on the frozen lakes and backyard rinks and enjoying an outdoor activity, which is a lot safer. And hockey's such a big part of Canadian culture that uh, it's been nice to see people getting through this by enjoying it through sport, and so something to celebrate for sure.
Yeah, surefire way to almost like guaranteed generate a tear in the eye for us is just tell some feel good story involving kids, outdoor hockey, and adversity. And Hockey Day in Canada, really just a way to bottle and market that, but a little bit that's all right. We did get to have six Canadian teams facing off each other to celebrate, so that is surely worthwhile.
Love it. We will, but in fact, the day was not kicked off with the games. It was kicked off with news of a trade between the Ottawa Senators and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Ottawa Senators receive forward Ryan Dzingel for Alex Galchenyuk and Cedric Paquette. Um, this seems like another shakeup trade. I don't know how many of those Galchenyuk's been in now. It seems like he's still waiting to find the right situation for him to succeed. I at this point, I just don't know if he's ever going to be that guy people are hoping for him to be. But he does have another shot now in Carolina. Uh, Shout out to the 5 Senators fans that bought Ryan Dzingel jerseys 2 years ago. You get to pull them back out of the closet again. Don't know why you would. But yeah, uh, I just there's not much else to say about this trade. Just a swap. Senators won't get to access Zingle for a couple of weeks, so it'll be a while to see what sort of impact he has. Um, but yeah, there's that trade. The Senators getting Zingle, and they go on to play the Winnipeg Jets, and win by a score of 2-1 in a pretty sloppy game is what you get normally in most sports when you play earlier in the day. Uh, Basketball, usually those Sunday afternoon games are a gong show, and any of those early games in London in the NFL are usually not the most pleasant to watch. But the Sens getting a win, Brady Kachuk with the tip home late in the third period. Love to see it as a Leafs fan because it gives the Jets an L and helps keep us in the lead as we progress into the next game that happened on the day, and that was the Leafs themselves taking the L to the Montreal Canadiens in the first period when the Leafs were winning and and Mitch Marner had scored. Habs Twitter was it was the is like people on fire, burning, screaming in the pits of hell, looking to tear everything down, pulling their hair out. It was bizarre to watch, really, and they're freaking out. And then the Leafs turn in an inverse performance of what happened on Thursday night by falling asleep for 2 minutes. The Canadians score twice in succession and steal this one from right under their noses as they pull back closer in the race for first in the North Division.
Tabernacle. Yeah,
Nothing about this game really suggested that the Canadians are the better team. I think the Leafs outplayed them. Uh, Obviously, you can't win every single game, and the Leafs aren't going to do that. So I'm not too upset because I saw enough to be okay with the outcome of the game. Of course, it's frustrating when you lose to a rival, but we've still got 7 more games left between these two teams who are going to be fighting for first, and I can't wait to continue to watch them.
yeah, thus far the Leafs taking 4 points in our three matchups and the Canadians taking 3 points. So pretty much as close as you can be through three games. Leafs little higher in the division for now. We get a 3 game stretch against the Senators this week. So hopefully a chance to let that offense flow, build a little more chemistry, and keep the winning going. I mean, the most the biggest thing you can ask for your franchise is don't drop two in a row. If you can do that, you are going to have a fantastic season. And the Leafs have managed to do that thus far. So as long as we can bounce back and try and grab at least 5 of the 6 points on the table against the Senators, we should be in great shape for the next matchup against the Canadians, which I believe will be on Saturday.
Our boy Joe Thornton will be back this week, and so looking forward to seeing him back on the ice. It seems like he will be back on that top line with Matthews and Marner, which just bumps Hyman down the lineup. Like you said, you were excited to see him back on either the second line or give that third line a kick as just everyone falls into a better role for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that second line looked like they might have found something that worked throwing Simmons on there. And Hyman, probably the most similar players to Simmons you could ask for to fill that role. So there's certainly something there. I feel like the game of Mikheyev and Kerfoot is so similar to Hyman that's such a nasty, punishing, fast, speedy, forechecking, powerful line you can throw out there. I'd love to see that, especially come playoff time. Just like the perfect punch to throw out after the 1-2 top scary four.
The thing that I would say is it does seem like Zach needs to be on a line with two guys who can create. I worry that him on a third line with two other guys similar to him, he doesn't get the same opportunity. He just doesn't have the same skill level. Whereas if he plays, he fits in perfectly with our two top lines because you've got Matthews and Marner who can just set him up with empty net shot attempts. Whereas he's the guy who gets into the dirt and digs out and rakes out pucks. And that's what he's perfectly designed for. So I actually would like to see him get a shot on that second line with Tavares, who works hard, and then Nylander, who just refuses to make contact with anything besides the puck. Yeah, I just think they need a little grit on that second line. So I actually wouldn't be opposed to Zach getting some time there before Wayne trains back.
Yeah, I mean, you need O'Reilly to carry the puck through the red line and dump it for that third line to go to work, or you need McCabe and Kerfoot both have the legs to carry it in. They just struggle with the consistency. You'll see them do great, like 70, 80, 90% of the way, and just like fluff it at the last hurdle before they get that forecheck going. So maybe just some reps for consistency, maybe switching up the breakout style, being a little less puck possession when that line's on the ice. I some forms of chemistry just make me happy, and that's one of those lines that just like kind of sends a little thrill through or something.
All right. The Hockey Day in Canada gets wrapped up with the Canucks snapping their 6-game losing streak with a 3-1 win over the Flames. They played really well. They outshot the Flames 48-20. This was the energy that they needed to give. Ownership before the game backed Benning and backed Green. And I think that was the little confidence boost they needed. And Vancouver's dug themselves a bit of a hole, but if Demko can heat up and show a glimpse of what he looked like in the bubble, and we talked to this a ton, but they definitely have the offensive firepower to get back in this race. So will be interesting to see how Vancouver responds now that they've snapped the skid. And on the other side, Calgary continue to search for answers. Of course, they're still sitting in that 4 spot, but and got a great performance from Markstrom, but still have been struggling to put the puck in the back of the net. So we'll see what adjustments they will make moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you thought Vancouver thought they dug themselves out of a smaller skid last week against the Leafs, and that must have just losing in 11 seconds must just the confidence I can't even imagine. Uh, no mistakes made this time, staying much, just no lapses to let such a thing repeat. It's, I think there's a point though, just the puck doesn't bounce your way for so long, but eventually there will be games where the puck does bounce your way. They had it bouncing their way against Toronto last week. They had it bouncing their way against Calgary Saturday night. can they go out and get it when in the more 50-50 games? And the early answer is no, this team just isn't deep enough. I did pick them to make the playoffs, and I've kind of dropped that. So we'll see if they can prove me wrong. But it's gonna take a consistent effort. Like every team is gonna have occasionally their night. It's about going out and getting it when the puck isn't working for you, when the team isn't falling flat and struggling to score. So we'll see.
All right, that wraps up our hockey talk.